Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ohio Gripe again.
What is going on, people?
This is episode 4, and I do believe we are going to live stream this one on Rumble, as well as Twitch and YouTube.
So wait, I have a question.
What's that?
How did I miss episode 1?
Because I was episode 1. Just me by myself.
You didn't invite me for that one?
No, that was in January.
Holy shitballs. You
Yeah,
waited
that
that
was-
long to do another episode?
Yes, that's why we lost most of our listeners. Which
Sorry, folks. Mark's an idiot.
Yeah, which we are going to rebuild, I promise.
That's right. Speaking of which, don't forget, got the parade. Y'all should come see us.
November 18th in Massillon. And I have an aunt who lives in Florida. And she was asking, and I do believe, I'm not 100%, we have to do some research, but if you guys could figure this out, that'd be even better. I do believe that the parade will be broadcast or streamed or something by...
I don't know. Probably Maslin Cable TV.
Yes, Maslin Cable. Because there was some odd questions when we filled out the thing, like our names and who we are and what we do. And I think there's going to be like gosh, my brain isn't working. Like a dude.
A dude? Not a dudette?
What's it called when someone talks about it?
An announcer.
Yes, it's going to be an announcer and then someone talking during the parade. So I do believe it's going to be, I don't want to use the word live stream, but it's going to be recorded and broadcast, I think, from Maslin Cable. So look for it on YouTube and or see if Maslin Cable has a website. We would look it up. Well, I could look it up right now.
We know what else we could do that would be kind of cool, but I don't know if we want to do that.
What's that?
Since we have power in the vehicle we're going to be in, we could like set or strap, I guess would be a better way to do it, a laptop next to the Christmas tree on top of that and live stream it on Facebook.
I thought about that. Okay, so here's the thing. We are definitely recording it. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to have multiple cameras, and I'm going to ask people to use their cell phones, and I will gather all afterwards and then make it into a video. So it won't be live. As far as live streaming, the problem with that is with all the lights, the Christmas tree, and the music and all that, I just think it would be so... the view would be so limited.
Well, the other thing we could do, if you're worried about the lights and the music, put the GoPro on a suction cup thing outside on the windshield.
Do you have a GoPro?
I do. I have a Hero 8 or something. I can't remember. I've
Well,
had
see,
it for a little bit.
That's kind of what I meant, though. Like, it would be a singular view. You would only be able to see either in front of the vehicle or off to one side or out the back. And that's kind of where I'm like, is it worth it?
That you could do, or you could do, like, if we live streamed it on the Ohio Grape and then, like, one of our personal channels, we could have a cell phone in the van watching out the doors or whatever. Something like that. I don't know. I mean, we can think about it.
Yeah, we can certainly look into it. It's just we only have a couple of weeks to do it.
But those are going to be a lot. Those are the ones you'd have to cut the sound out. If we have like a cell phone or something showing out the van door on the right or left hand side. I don't know who's sitting on
I
which side.
I could put it in the dash, meaning up at the front by the windshield, facing back. So you'll see the wife, us, and then everything out the back, if that's a view.
There you go.
See, this is where I need people to tell me what they want, and nobody does that.
See, I think that would be a good view, like I said, but you would just have to make sure that you cut the sound out. Because like you say, it's going to be pretty loud in there with the Christmas trees going so everybody can hear it as we're driving along or whatever. And, you know, your wife screaming and yelling, road raging at people to get the hell out of her way, that kind of thing.
You know, another thing is the internet connection. Who's got a cell phone that works well enough to make a hotspot that we won't? We would have to try it. The wife and I would have to drive downtown Maslin
and see if it's
and live stream something and see what the connection looks
connected.
like.
We
because
can do that, though. We can
Verizon has been having serious issues.
You were about to say the F word, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Just because, I mean, the wife and I are like pulling our hair out.
Well, see, I have T-Mobile, and it works pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with T-Mobile.
And most people, if for some reason, Verizon used to be the best. Now, all of a sudden, they're sucking.
I was never a Verizon guy because of the way they did the renewals. They're terrible. Like, they didn't tell you or nothing, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, my phone bill went up like 35%. Like, well, that's because you didn't renew.
Oh.
Like, well, you didn't tell me I had to. Well, it's not our responsibility. It says right in your contract that we don't have to do that.
Well, I've actually never had any surprises. It's always been expensive. Verizon was always the most expensive, but
It
they were
was.
the best, so I didn't mind spending the money.
See,
But now they're just expensive.
See, I had Sprint for, I don't know, 20-some years, I think. And they were great. And then I had a cell phone issue with one of my phones, and they wouldn't do anything to help me fix it. And I was like, what the? I mean, this is just ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was back when I was doing the thing with my other buddies. So my phone had to work. And the issue with the phone was it wouldn't stay on unless it was plugged in. And I'm like, look, this ain't working.
Right.
They're like, well, that's not covered under your insurance. And I'm like, so you're telling me I pay whatever it was at the time, $7.80 a month or whatever for insurance, but you're not going to fix my friggin' phone?
Yeah.
Nope. So I was like, okay.
Okay, I went ahead and went to YouTube and I typed in Maslin live stream just to see if anything comes up, and I'm seeing a lot of football.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Ohio and its love for football. So I'm seeing that. I'm not really seeing anything
Or
else.
you type in Maslin Parade.
Worst places in Ohio. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, Maslin.
Parade.
God, why does it have to be a word I can't spell? Parade.
Look at. Well, I thought you said you couldn't spell.
Well, I've spelled it enough. Maslin Parade 2023. And this is from Tara Wright, so this is a person.
Well, yeah, but shouldn't that be 2022?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because now it's 2023 and it hasn't
It
happened
was
yet.
2 weeks ago. Maybe they had a football parade.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if they did. I wonder if they had a parade.
This is a Memorial Day parade, which I didn't even know they had. I've been living in Maslin. I had no idea there was a parade for Memorial Day.
Me either. Oh, wow, look at that. Washington High School TV.
I bet you that's where you're going to be able to find it. Right? I mean, the Maslin school.
I don't know if they actually do the Christmas parade, but I bet
I'm willing to bet they do.
But I'm betting you that is what that is for after they beat the Bulldogs, and then they had the brawl afterwards.
So we got youtube.com/WHSTV. So it's WHSTV.
Which would be Washington High School TV,
Ohio. Right? And then follow and like us at Judas Priest. I suck. Okay, give me 1
You
second.
can hit the pause button, you know.
That's why I was saying, okay. Or you can say like and follow us at WHSTV Ohio, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The only reason I'm telling you about this is this might be where you would go. So it's WHS-TV Ohio YouTube. You might be able to find the parade live streaming
That's
there.
a lie, too, by the way. They're not on
Yes,
Twitter.
this is a live stream, but...
No, that's a lie.
Oh, what?
There's no such thing as Twitter anymore. So you can't follow them on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
It's
X.
Oh, my gosh. Look what I just... Woo.
Oh, my gosh. He just killed his mic.
Damn. It's X.
I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to these guys. Oh, my gosh.
And it's not D-Generation X.
Sully.
The cool...
Quit farting.
Oh, my God. Your dog is terrible.
Dude,
Is he under
he's
the
just
table?
a freaking miniature hot air balloon.
We got Toots 3 down here.
Oh, my gosh. I'm just sitting here working away, and all of a sudden the smell of death wafts up.
I don't think that's death, sir.
Ah.
Look, you make their food, so you ought to know.
I can't help it. I'm making chicken this week, so maybe it'll cool it a little bit. But, man.
You actually spent the extra money on chicken?
It wasn't that. It was, give me a second. We didn't have time to stop where I normally get their pork.
You get GFS? Is that where you usually go?
Yeah. Because they have it way cheaper than the box stores.
Well, see, we were out there the other day. If you'd have said something, we'd have got it for you and I would have brought
I
it.
have 4 of them frozen. They're just frozen solid. We were out, and we just buying chicken, so I've just bought 2 things of chicken. One would be their food, and the other one's for us.
Oh, that's something else I was going to ask you about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
So, I bought the dog. Mm-hmm. Well, not my dog, but, you know, the old lady, her daughter has a American Bully. Mm-hmm. Cute little dog. Pain in the butt. But, so I bought the dog a pool a while back. Because they got these really cool folding pools on Amazon. You just unfold them. Well, the one had a big hole in it, so it didn't work. So we had to get a replacement. And then you have to take the one that was bad and either ship it back or take it to Staples or somewhere else.
Kohl's, yeah.
Is it Kohl's? Okay. Well, did you know there's no Staples in Belleville Village anymore?
Right. It's all Office Max now.
I was like,
They merged. I don't know which one bought which, but all the Staples disappeared and all became Office Max.
Well, no, there's a Staples because we went to the one up on South Arlington.
You're
and
right.
There was
You're
one
right.
there.
You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. They didn't. Yes. You're right. I'm sorry.
But that's where we went. And I'm like, because she's like, where are we going? I'm like, well, Belton Village. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she's like, here, I'll type it in to get. I'm like, okay, it's in Belton Village. It can't be that hard to find. And I'm glad she typed it in to GPS it because she's a GPSer. And she's like, I don't see Belton Village anymore. And I'm like, what? And she's like, it says the closest one is on South Arlington. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're going there. Because I did not realize Staples said, screw you, Canton, we're out.
I didn't know that either. All right, now here's one. This is Zinn's Tiger Town Mowers. So apparently it's a landscaper or mowing service. And this is just
I bet
someone's
they sell mowers, yeah.
Yeah, this is just someone's cell phone, but it's good enough. So the point is that there is a couple of places you can go. I'm pretty sure if you look hard enough, if you care, you will be able to live stream, or you'll be able to catch a live stream from the parade.
Right.
And we're going to be in it. So that would make me just glow if I knew that even just one of our listeners would watch the Massillon Parade.
Excuse me.
Now, if you go to our channel, Ohio Gripe, on YouTube, you will see a little bit of live stream from me and the first co-host, because we weren't in the parade, but we went to the parade and we did some live streaming. I think it's on either on Instagram or Facebook.
Right, and then whatever video we take while we're there, it'll probably end up either on their YouTube channel or on our regular website. I'm not sure which yet.
I have an idea.
Oh my God, I thought I smelled stuff burning, and there is exactly why.
Instead of doing a single GoPro and live streaming that way, why don't we just live stream our phones?
That's what I'm saying. But if you did the GoPro, you could hook it into the computer because it's Bluetooth, and then you can have the outside view without the glass and the glare from the lights and all that kind of crap. Yeah. That's what I was kind of thinking. That's the only reason I was saying the GoPro might be better, because you could stick it somewhere outside where when you're looking at the windshield, it's not glaring on the lights. And
right. Well, I mean, we could strap one to the tree easy enough.
Right, make it the star.
But yeah, all right, yeah, just bring it over and we'll see. It's just we got to do this.
And even if we can't live stream with the GoPro, we can put it up there, and then when we'll have that video that you can.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. That'll be the minimum. The bare minimum. I promise there will be video of the parade. It's just live streaming would be the difficulty, because what's the point if you're going to drop a ton of frames? But it doesn't mean that's not a no. We just have to see if one of our phones will have a connection good enough.
So I guess my next question is, are the elves going to be in the front of the van or behind the van?
I was thinking behind it.
Okay, then we should probably put the camera rear facing. So
that's kind of what I was thinking.
See the elves, and
the only
comment
problem
below
is
if you like that
the
idea.
only problem is we may have to strap it to a magnet because the tailgate will be up.
That's all right. I got a bunch of different things. We can even strap it to one of the elves' heads. I got a head thing. There's a chest thing that goes with it. You can.
Yeah. Now I have.
The elf will look stupid with the GoPro hooked.
I have a Sony version of a GoPro, and it's a little bigger, but it also comes with a like a grip, like a gun grip, and I'm going to have someone.
There you go.
Doing that, they'll be walking and videotaping.
See, now
there's going to be, I think there's going to be like 6 or 7 adults.
Yeah, and like I said, and the GoPro's the same way. You can buy a little handheld thing, boom, like for vloggers to carry around and talk. You can buy one of them to hook onto the GoPro too, and we could have somebody carry it.
Yeah, it's really difficult because the Sony has Wi-Fi, but I think if you log with the computer, if you log into that camera, that's all you're going to be connected to. I don't think it can do I don't think it can take the signal from the camera and then put it into OBS, and it's just I think we're running out of time.
Well, that's all right. Like I say, even if we just have, people want to see the whole grape thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's going to want to watch the kids throwing candy.
I think somebody will.
I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't, but I mean, we're going to have elves. Who doesn't want to see our little elves?
But the good news is the back seats will be down, so there'll be just a lot of open space. I could just mount a camera in the back.
Watching the elves.
Right,
and the kids
looking out the back of the... I don't know, we'll see. But there will be... The final uploaded version will be much better. It'll have outside footage and footage taken from family who was on the sidelines.
Okay.
And then that'll all be put together and uploaded. It just won't be live.
Well, yeah, I mean... For now, it won't be live, but we could think it's.
But I still think it would be easier for us just to live stream from our cell phones.
Probably.
We'll just live stream it to a singular, like either Ohio Gripe at YouTube or something.
Just do the Ohio Gripe YouTube channel and boom, turn it on. And like you say,
yeah,
take a cell phone mount and put it somewhere.
Because I mean, Johnson's friend will be there, and he could be easily the cameraman. He could just be doing this with his cell phone and waving, and then we'll have other cameras as just recording video.
Right.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Right.
So there's a lot of details in very little time.
Well, I have nothing but time because I'm not allowed to work.
Yeah, you could be figuring this shit out.
Good luck for me, though. I'm still a little fired up about the whole not working thing.
Well, tell us about it.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not one of them guys that has to work or I'm upset. But at the same time, if I don't make money, I'm upset. And I feel like I can be making money and they won't let me. And that just pisses me off. I mean, I realize, oh yeah, we didn't do the foot update. I seen the orthopedic lady, very nice lady, shout out to her. But apparently I have a broken foot and a broken ankle.
Oh, shit. So you really messed yourself up.
Oh, yeah. I definitely did a number on it.
So, now what happened? Did you miss a step or did your foot roll under?
I was coming down steps kind of like those, just a lot more of them. And it was dark. Like I say, it was a Halloween party, so it was dark. There's not lights at most Halloween parties.
Uh-huh.
So we're going down the steps, me and Toots and another friend of ours, D. And I turned around and said, all right, girls, be careful. It's dark. I don't want anybody falling down the steps. And I made about 2 more, and then I was at the second to the last or third to the last or whatever it was because I wasn't counting. And I rolled my ankle all the way to the floor.
So your foot went to the side.
Yeah, and I went all the way from the second step to the floor. And then, of course...
On the side of your ankle.
Yes. And...
Damn.
What really... And this is what I think broke my actual foot and ankle. I think I probably would have been okay with that. But I'm there with 2 ladies, and I can't be this sissy guy that falls down. That would just be... Yeah, I can't be looking dumb in front of 2 girls, right? That's just, damn, can't do that. And I bounced on it a couple times to not fall down. And if I'd have just said, screw it, and rolled onto the floor, I think I probably would have been a lot better shape. But no, can't do that.
Well, you live and you learn.
Well, that's not really a learn thing. That's a reaction thing. I don't know if you can learn to react differently.
Oh, yeah. You can learn to fall.
Oh, I can fall. Ask anybody that's seen me drunk. I can fall.
All right, so you broke your foot.
Broke my ankle.
You went to the doctor at some point.
Yeah, I went to the, what do you call it, the
Stat
Care people? Yeah. Altman West, is that what it's called in Madison?
Yes.
I think it's called Altman West. Anyway, they put me in a boot and said, it doesn't appear to be broken, but you need to see the orthopedist. Basically taking the big thing and washing their hands so they're not liable for anything. So the boot got me kicked out of work. And they're like, you can't be in here with the big, giant boot because it's open-toed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So then I went to see the orthopedist. I'm like, I need a splint that I can put on here and then put my shoe on because they won't let me in with the boot. So she's like, okay. And she fixed me up with a splint that could go on my boot. Got all that done. And they're like, nope. And I'm like, wait, hang on. Why didn't you say that 2 days ago and I wouldn't have spent $380 to get this stupid thing so I could come back to work?
Yeah, I know. I would say sue, but I don't know if you would have a case there.
Sue who?
Well, just whoever said get a splint to come back to work and you'd be all right.
Well, they never actually said get a splint. They said we can't let you in because of the boot.
Oh, so you assumed that if you changed the boot.
If I had they said you can't be in here with an open toe. It's an open toe. You can't be here like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I just won't have an open toe. I'll get something I could put in because I have like those big, tall, 8-inch, work boot heel or whatever you call them.
Yeah,
comes all the way up to my calf. I'm like, I'll just wear those and I'll get the doctor to give me a splint, and then boom. I mean, that's tighter than this stupid walking cast they got me in or whatever the hell you call this stupid thing.
Yeah,
and they still were like, nope. Can't have any type of splint to be in here. And I'm like, why didn't you say that?
Yeah, you almost have to know exactly what to ask.
Well, and I think...
Because they're not forthwith with information.
And that's just it. I think they don't want to give you any of the information of what they need or what they want.
I think they don't know. I think it's not that they don't want to. It's they're afraid to say anything until they've double-checked and triple-checked and read all of the paperwork.
Right.
Because these people are new. Nobody has been in that building for a year yet.
Well, but it was the girl that came from the other facility
doesn't matter. She probably never had to deal with that before.
Well, but she has, because she had one of the girls that worked back in the back in, I don't know if it was the receiving office, had the same thing, and they weren't allowed, because they were like, well, she works in the office, we'll just drive her back there on a golf cart, and she has to stay in the office back there, and then at the end of the day, we'll go get the golf cart and pick her up and bring her back up. They were like, nope.
Wow. Some companies, man.
It's, I don't know, like...
I mean, think about it. If you have a company with 400 people and yet you have no idea what you're going to do with someone who has... I mean, people can get injured all the time. Well, they just like, nope, go to this horrible company, Hartford. Of course, I haven't dealt with Hartford yet. All I know is that my experience with Matrix through Gojo was absolutely horrible.
Well, I will tell you that I know a couple people that have used Hartford through what we're doing, and they all say it is not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, well, they make it that way.
But I don't know.
So you're not working. Are you drawing any kind of income?
Well, I got to wait to see if the Hartford will let me have my disability, short-term disability.
Yeah.
Which is only 60% of my income, which will cover my bills, don't get me wrong, but...
You're eating ramen noodles.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do eat somewhat expensive, but, I mean, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. Like, I get it, and trust me, there's other ways I can make money.
Yeah.
But then it takes me going out and doing this and doing that and da-da, you know what I mean? So that's not good for my broken foot to be out wandering around, and, I mean... Speaking of which, when it snows, everybody needs a snowblower. I know a guy selling a few.
My wife and I have a great idea for that, but it takes planning. We have to get a bigger storage unit. We have to move things around, but we have a tractor.
Yeah.
And I was going to buy a blower attachment, which is not horribly expensive. It's like $1,500.
Yeah, well, a new one, but you can buy a used one if you can find one that fits your tractor for around $800-900.
Right. But the point is, so we'd have to park the tractor in the garage, which means we'd have to put the bike somewhere for storage. It's a lot of moving parts, and we're just not there yet.
Well, see, what I did is I just went around in the fall, like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and you buy snowblowers cheap because it's not snowing. Nobody, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I bought a few of them, and I just kind of cleaned them up a little bit and changed all the gas and the oil, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So they run decent, and yada, yada, yada. And then when the snow flies, boom, Facebook Marketplace.
Yep.
Make a couple of dollars on each. And what I'm hoping to do is I got a few of them, so I'm hoping I could sell a couple of them and then have one for me for free.
When it comes to Facebook Marketplace, why do people always ask if it's available and they never contact you ever again?
I don't know why people do that. I will say that there are a million, and I mean a million people that put in their Facebook Marketplace ad. If you ask if this is available, I'm not responding to you.
Yeah.
If the ad is up and doesn't say sold, it's available. Because as soon as you sell it, you go to the thing and you go, and you mark it sold, and it says sold. So I don't know why people are asking, is it available?
I think because it's a click. It's
well, yeah,
a button
it's the first. It's the first auto response.
Yeah, but still, the point is, well, if you're going to ask if it's available, you could just ask, well, how much, or something like that.
Yeah. What would be a good time to look at
so
this
frustrating.
if you still have it? Something like that, yes. But I think people just, they think, if you're going to use the first auto response, you're not serious anyway, so they don't respond to it.
Yeah, okay.
But, I bought and sold things like that quite a bit, and I don't know, I've always had decent experiences. Here, I can hear a good funny story.
Sure.
So, I think this is funny. Some people might think it's funny, but when my father died, I was not smoking weed. Thank you very much.
Okay.
They might be. But anyway, so when my father died, I got his house. So all of his stuff was still in there, right?
Right.
So he had this old Hoover vacuum cleaner from the 70s. So I'm like, I wonder if anybody would buy that. So, I cleaned it all up, got it all looking nice, put a new bag in it, made sure it still worked, whatever. Put it up on, I don't know if I put it on Facebook Marketplace or if that was a Craigslist one. But anyway, guy sends me a message, hey, can I come look at this? And I'm like, sure. So dude comes down, and no offense to anybody because I don't really care, but dude is gayer than a $3 bill. He wasn't even to the door, got out of the car, and I'm like, okay, dude likes dudes, you know what I'm saying? You could just tell. He was very nice guy, whatever. So he's like, I collect these. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, people collect these older vacuums. And I'm like,
okay.
I'm like, really? So I guess people collect anything, but whatever. So he buys it or whatever. Like I say, he was very nice, very polite guy. Next thing I know, he sends me a message 2 hours later, asking me on a date. And I'm like,
what?
I was like, I don't know if my girlfriend would like that. And he's like, oh, so you're one of those. And I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, sorry, dude. And I'm like, I mean, I'm flattered, I
I'm
guess.
one of those.
But, yeah, I'm a, what do they call them?
Not
Readers?
everyone is gay.
Yeah. So, but I'm like, I just thought that was hilarious. And I've never been hit on since. But yeah, I just kind of know. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Asking me out on a date after you buy a vintage vacuum cleaner.
That's an interesting, segue, really. Oh, this guy's selling something that sucks. I wonder if he's gay.
Yeah, I wonder if he sucks, too. Speaking of which.
Whatever.
Ready for a great joke?
What's that?
I had a broken vacuum cleaner. Mm-hmm. I put a Cleveland Brown sticker on it. Now it sucks again.
Oh, yeah, okay. Wonk, wonk, wonk.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right.
If anybody doesn't know, I'm not a Browns fan. Clowns, I'm sorry.
I'm not a football fan.
Well,
As a matter of fact, well, I'm not even going to go there.
Nope, yeah, whatever.
All right.
But anyway, so I know there's something that you wanted to discuss today.
Well, there's a couple of topics that I'm going to actually gripe about. Normally, we're not really gripers here. But I say normally. I know the last three episodes we've been griping.
I've been griping about my foot for a little while.
Right. But there's a couple of things that I just want to talk about. One of them I've talked about before. Anybody who's watched this podcast from the beginning knows that I will talk about motorcycles in an absolute heartbeat. But being a real motorcyclist, what I mean by that is I like motorcycling. I don't like stereotypes. So I'm not a Harley guy or a sport bike guy. I love sport bikes. I love the sport of riding, which is extreme riding, which is racing. I don't do that on the road, but I like that. And what I like about that is simply man against physics. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's a motorcycle. Put me in a race car, and I'll do my best. It's just motorcycling, for some reason, I can wrap my head around it a little better. And it was cheaper. A race car costs a lot more than a sport bike.
Depending on what kind of race car you get, yeah.
Yeah. Even like a Mazda Miata, if you really want it to be performance-oriented, you got to put shocks on it. That shit costs a fortune. So
yes.
Bikes are cheaper. Bikes are race-ready right out of the box. Like, really. Like, you just buy it.
They build them like that, yeah.
Right. That's why I often say to people who like sport bikes, I try to tell them, a sport bike is actually not a motorcycle. It just isn't. A sport bike is a tool. It is a tool built by the company to win races that they have to sell to the public.
Right.
Because World Superbike, the AMA back in the day, I can't remember who owns it now. They require production bikes. Okay, right. Unlike NASCAR, you cannot buy a NASCAR or you cannot buy a MotoGP bike.
But see, that's actually false. Anything that is on the track at NASCAR has to be some version of a production vehicle.
Yeah, but come on, it's not. We're talking aluminum and a roll cage and an engine.
I'm not saying it is, but it has to be based upon that platform.
Yeah, they're so far removed.
But they are definitely completely modified.
Right. Well, they're built from the ground up. The only thing, even the engines. I mean, a Ford Fusion. Come on, Ford Fusions don't come with V8s. But anyways, a sport bike is the real deal. What you get on the track is only slightly modified from what you get from the factory. We're talking shocks and tires and maybe adjustments, and that's it.
Bigger carbs, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think they're allowed to mess with the engine. And all that stuff doesn't have carbs. It's all fuel injected.
Well, yeah, but I don't know.
They may adjust the mapping.
There's got to be some way that they're pushing more fuel or whatever and leaning it out to get more horsepower.
You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed at how powerful the...
Oh, trust me, I know.
Anyways, so, again, it's just cheaper. So I've been avid into that. I've been riding since... I mean, if you want to count only the road, I've been riding since I was 14 because I had a moped. But I've been on two wheels a lot longer than that, motorized two wheels.
Right.
So it's something I'm very passionate about. But I don't throw myself into stereotypes. I don't ride a Harley. I ride a motorcycle that I know that when I hit that button, it's going to start. It's not going to break midway. I don't like Harleys simply because they have the worst maintenance record of any motorcycle manufacturer in the history of motorcycles.
And anytime you got to do anything, it's $100 HD.
Yeah, it's horribly expensive.
$100.
So if you ride a Harley because you want a Harley, that's fine. That's wonderful. I'm glad that they're out there and you can do that. But I like to spend my money more wisely. Japanese bikes are better built and they're cheaper.
I like just the German bikes, dude. Those BMWs are sweet.
I don't like anything German. I just don't.
Really?
Yeah.
I know a couple of German girls that are pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyways, so, and the Italian bikes are the same thing as the Italian cars. They don't last as long. But, I mean, that's fine. If you like those bikes, that's wonderful. I have no issues, whatever kind of motorcycle you want to throw your leg over. What I have an issue is what sits between your ears.
Well, and that's the problem. There are so many people out there that have nothing between their ears.
So my gripe today is that Failure Book, who owns Instagram, and I'm on Instagram, likes to send whatever videos will piss me off. I swear to God. If it's not road rage, it's dogs getting found. They're all screwed up and people find them. And then I read this article about a year or so back that there's a lot of these content providers that will buy a dog, beat it up, or throw it down a ravine and then videotape them just happening across it. And they save the dog, and everyone thinks they're wonderful. But in reality, they're creating...
They're doing it themselves.
Yeah, they're like kicking the shit out of the dog, which is why the dog is screaming and crying, but he's not running away, because
Right.
dogs are loyal. Now, I'm not saying every one of them is like that, but I read that a lot of them have gotten busted abusing these animals, especially in the States, abusing these animals to make these videos of how they're finding these dogs and
Right.
cats and so on and
Assholes.
so forth. So, anyways, those videos piss me off, and I'm trying to get the algorithms to start sending me comedy stuff, but it's just every day. And one thing that they love to send me is these videos of these assholes, and it doesn't seem to matter the age or the bike they're on. A lot of them tend to be there's like a naked bike. It's like a sport bike, but it doesn't have the plastic. And the difference is a naked bike isn't designed for full-blown racing, because those fairings or the plastic helps keep the air
Moving correctly, right?
Yeah, so the bike cuts through the air. Also, sometimes they'll put flanges on them, or slight flanges, to help keep the bike pushed against the ground. That's the difference between a naked bike. They're still fast, but they're not meant for actual racing, as
Right.
opposed to a bike that has full fairings on it. I'm going to adjust my microphone. Give me 1 second.
Here comes the noise.
Yeah,
people.
it's really noisy. But I'm going... I hate that. So... Okay, 1 second. So it seems to be these naked bikes, which tend to be more cruisers. You know, you get on the... They're more edgy, but
Right.
at the same time, they're made to be on the street and not a racetrack, like a GSXR or a Ninja. So it's a demographic that buys these bikes. They're a little cheaper than the full-blown race machines for obvious reasons. And younger kids tend to ride these. Now, everyone on planet Earth that's older than, say, 25 knows that young kids are edgy, don't make the best decisions, and they're quick to get emotional.
Correct.
So it doesn't take much imagination to understand that it's the younger kids that are being the most aggressive. What I'm talking about is it seems like these people, I'm talking about arrogance, okay? Just because you're on a motorcycle doesn't make you elite. It doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you a better driver or a better rider or more conscious of what's going on. It just doesn't. You can be a complete jackass on two wheels as you can on four.
Well, yeah, jackass is a jackass.
So what you do have to do, however, when you're on a motorcycle is whether you want to believe it or not, whether someone has told you or not, or whether there's nothing to show the proof of this, you have to rise to the occasion because you represent everyone who's on two wheels. And it is literally us against them. Okay? People who don't have a motorcycle, they don't care about motorcycles. And here comes the shocker.
Right.
They don't have to. They don't have to respect you. They don't have to like you. All they have to do is not kill you or drive over you. That's it. As long as they abide by the laws of the road, not laws of your laws, they are doing A-OK. So it is literally on us, the motorcycle riders, to watch out for them. That is our job. Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's right or not, whether your ego can take it or not, that is the truth. So when you're on two wheels, you are to be better. You are to be more cool-headed, because you cannot ride all fuckered up in your head and angry, because you're going to make a mistake. And trust me, people who make mistakes in cars are surrounded by seatbelts and airbags and tons of technology. Cars that crumple in certain spots, they are protected more. Well, more. A biker? No. You go shooting off the damn thing, and everything that takes a hit is your body. And if you're not wearing proper clothing, which I am guilty of doing, then you're really going to get messed up. So it's not their fault if you're not properly dressed, it's not their fault if I'm
No.
improperly dressed and not wearing a helmet. If anyone can make a mistake. Anybody can change lanes and not look properly. Someone can be distracted. Whether that's right or wrong, it can happen. So riding around with this chip on your shoulder, acting like the first person who makes the slightest, and that's all these videos I'm seeing. You see someone who just changes lanes. Yeah, they could have looked better, but it like gives these young punks or these old crouchy bastards who are on Harleys and they drive up and then they kick the car or they knock a mirror off the car. If someone really screws up, like if someone's pursuing you, trying to knock you off your bike and he's not a police officer, then okay, fine, I won't say anything. It's not adult to do that under any circumstances, but I won't like bash you. If you know, ripping a mirror off a car is a way to say quit screwing with me because you know you can't blah, 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 blah. But if you're one of these people who just actively, the second you hit the road, you're looking for someone to make an example out of, please sell your bike. Please don't ride anymore, because you do not represent, first off, motorcycles. You certainly don't represent the adults who ride because they enjoy being in the wind, because you're not enjoying it. You can lie all you want. If you go out there and riding and you're purposely looking for someone to make a mistake so you can make an example, you're not enjoying being in the wind. You're out there to settle a score, some imaginary chip on your shoulder.
See, now, I would agree with that to a certain point, because I see the same videos you do, but the ones that I see are more where something like that happens and the rider's like, yo, man, you got to pay a little bit more attention because, you know, it's harder to see us than it is a car. And then the person in the car is like, fuck yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. Now, that dude, if he gets his mirror kicked off, I don't know. I'm sorry, you deserve that, because the guy's being polite. He's just saying, hey, man, kind of watch what you're doing. It's rougher for you to see us, and there's a lot of us out here. Could you, you know, just be aware. I mean, I get it. Mistakes happen, but be a little more aware. That's opposed to the guy that just rolls up. Hey, asshole, you cut me off. You know, there's a huge difference. But the guy that is polite and says, hey, you know, Grandma Myrtle, whatever, you know, take it easy, you know, look in your mirror a little better because there are motorcycles that run around here and you're going to end up hurting somebody. That guy shouldn't get jumped on with both feet by the person in the car. And then when that guy gets mad when somebody comes at him aggressive, I can see him going back at them. But that's my mentality. I'm a very nice person until you are aggressive with me, and then that's when things go bad. And if you don't believe me, ask our supervisor.
Well, my thing is even if you think the guy deserves it, he cuts you off, almost knocks you over, and then he flicks you off like you're the problem, and then you roll up and you pound his mirror off. The guy's already in a fucked up state of mind if he cuts you off and flicks you off. So he's already messed up.
Right.
So yes, you can consider it revenge, but you've also just stuck yourself in a really bad position because
I don't know if I'd call that revenge, but that's more of a...
Yeah, it is. It is. It's vindictive, but you're punishing. You're punishing. But here's the thing. When it comes down to it, the common sense part is that you're on two wheels, you're exposed, he's in a car.
Right. I think it's absolutely dangerous to do that because if you do some crazy shit like that, all he has to do is turn into you and your hamburger.
Just, you know, and I don't care how good of especially if you're on a Harley, any utilitarian point A to point B car will do 120 or 115.
I see. Yeah, some of them most of them they have limited at like 110 or something.
Even still,
nowadays,
we can argue over 5 miles an hour. The point is that if you're on a Harley, and you'll be lucky if you can hold that thing at 100 miles an hour on any road, unless you're on like California Straight Highway. The point is that you're not really going to outrun that car unless you have lights and obstacles. My point is, as soon as you have to start running from that guy, you fucked up. Because now you have to ride dangerous. You have to put other people at risk just to get away from this guy because you wanted to punish him.
I agree with that 1,000%. But like I said, my thing is, if you have that situation and you try to be polite with somebody, you know, hey, and they turn into the asshole and are aggressive towards you, I don't know. Like I said, that's a slippery slope right there. I mean, you got to be able to defend yourself at some point.
But it's how you do it. For example, if someone's really being dangerous, then I would just simply ride to the nearest police station or a parking lot, and then you can be mano a mano type thing, or get their plate and then get away from them. Once you got their plate, you got everything. 5 minutes on the internet, you got their name, their address, where they work, all of that stuff. So,
well, some people can do that. There's not a lot of people that know how to do that.
It's so easy.
I'm not saying
once
it's
you
not,
memorize the plate, you got them. So the point is not to be vindictive later. The point is that if someone's being like that, all you have to do is roll up and say, dude, I got your plate number. If you really want to do this, I'll pull into a police station, you'll keep driving, and then I'll meet you at your home later on. I mean, the point is that you remind them that there is no such thing as anonymity anymore.
Well, and there's not. And that I also agree with. But like I said, the problem you have then, even if you just do that, there's a lot of people out there like, you ain't going to the cops on me, pal, and they'll drive over you.
Yeah, yes, but if you smash their mirror, now they have even, I mean, it's a lose-lose regardless.
But the other thing that you are not putting out there, and this is something that I have noticed from, because like I said, I see these videos too, 99% of the time when something like that happens and somebody gets a mirror kicked off or they break their window or whatever the hell, all the other crazy shit that happens, it's never some big mean looking dude. It's always some little old lady or some soccer mom or, you know, some nerd that weighs 98 pounds. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that to somebody that looks aggressive. I don't know if you've noticed that either.
So, yeah, but anybody can own a motorcycle.
And I'm not saying
you can't.
I'm
You have
talking
to
about
own
the
a
people
bike,
in the
you
cars.
have to go to the gym and work
Yeah,
out.
I'm talking about the people in the cars. They don't knock the mirror off of a dude that looks like a big burly Harley guy, his mirror.
Yeah.
They don't want to mess with that dude. Or, you know, the guy that looks like he, you know, 6'2",
worse.
300 pounds and just got out of San Quentin. They're not kicking that guy's mirror.
Yeah, but anybody can steer a car into someone.
Right.
I mean, look at that one video with that one Harley rider, or I just say chopper rider, where he kicked the Ford Focus, and the Ford Focus went to hit him, lost control, and
Right.
Ford Focus not only took himself out, but he took out an SUV because he was all over the road. Now, you
Right.
may think Ford Focus, he deserves it. No one deserves that.
No.
And I'm not talking about the Focus driver. I'm talking about the poor bastard who was just driving down the street.
But
if the biker would have been the bigger person like he's supposed to, he could have just moved
Absolutely.
over, and no massive accident would have happened.
But I'm saying that the people that they go after are not the aggressive type looking people that are going to do something like that. They do that to a certain type looking individual in a car.
Yeah, but you never know who's going to snap.
And I'm not saying that you don't or you do, but I'm saying 99.9% of the time when you see those videos, it's not somebody that looks aggressive sitting in the driver's seat. It's not. It just isn't.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it okay.
And I'm not saying that makes it okay. I'm saying that makes that person on that bike, that asshole, as you call them, feel a little more comfortable that that person's not going to come after them.
Yeah, well.
And that I think is part of the issue. I see things like this, but the problem you have is this bully mentality.
Yeah.
Of that kid isn't going to do anything to my kid if my kid gives him shit because my kid can beat the shit out of that kid. That whole mentality now has been pushed and grown and to adulthood.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So these guys in these
nation of
bikes
teenagers.
are like, oh, well, Granny ain't going to run me over. She's going to be scared to death if I do this. But I say, if some guy that's 6'3", 310 pounds, looks like he just got out of San Quentin, he's not going to kick that guy's mirror. And that's that mentality of these people. Oh, well, I'm not going to bully that guy or this driver, to say, you know, for making a mistake. And that's common courtesy and upbringing. And that's where most of this comes from, how people are raised.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, if you own a motorcycle, you need to grow up.
Well, and that's the problem. I don't think
shit happens to
anybody
me
is
too.
growing up these days.
Shit happens to me too. You know, people pull out in front of me, and I don't go around kicking cars, and I don't have a line of people who get my plate and show up at my front door. You know, you just let it go. If there's no accident that happened, you can pull up beside them and say something. It won't go well. It never does.
Well, right.
Or you can just say, fuck them. They will have a bad day with someone else, and it'll be an asshole meets asshole, but I'm not going to get caught up in it because I'm out here enjoying my ride.
Right. Well, see, now the flip coin to that, too, is, like, I don't know if you see these, I guess they're called interaction videos, bikers with cops.
Oh, that's horrible.
So if you watch these, there's some cops that are just assholes, and there are some cops that are very nice to bikers. But if you watch them, I would say in 90% or so of those videos, when the cop comes up, if you pull over on your bike, they're 99.9% of the time super courteous and super cool because you didn't take off and put them in a situation where they might end up hurting somebody chasing you.
Right.
So they're at least courteous, and as if that biker is courteous back to them, it's a good interaction.
Yeah.
If he's an asshole to the cops, say, "What are you gonna fuck with me
Then I
over
hope
like
the cop
3
shoots
miles an hour?" Yeah. See, those are the ones that the cops
Shoot.
are being dicks to.
I hope they shoot him. You don't have to kill him, but a nice hole in your hip.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the same thing.
Sorry.
Even if you're
No, I'm not sorry. Fuck you.
Yeah. Even if you're in a car,
If you're
it's
ever
the same
rude
way.
to a cop, I hope he shoots you.
It's the same thing in a car. If you get pulled over by a cop and you don't agree with what he pulled you over for,
You have your day in court.
right? Don't swear and
Don't
cuss
try to
and-
get out of
and
the ticket
Call
then.
him all kinds of names and be an idiot.
And you know what sucks about that? The whole I'm going to be an asshole to this cop to get out of a ticket. What are you getting out of? A
don't-
day of inconvenience.
Well, see, but
Take
that's-
the ticket, have
you
your
don't
day
get
in
out
court.
of anything. You end up, and when you act like that,
You end up arrested or
right,
shot.
and you end up having a week of inconvenience. But like I said, if you're like, "Look, I don't agree with this. I'll see you in court." The cop will be like, "That's fine. I'll see
here's
you
your
that
ticket.
day.
I'm
Here's
gonna
your
leave."
ticket. I'll see you on June 18th or whatever the hell." You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like people are afraid of court nowadays.
Well, and I can get that to a certain point because what it costs to go to court is ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's if you lose.
No, you got to pay court costs whether you lose or win, homie.
Well, still. If you get in a fight with a cop, I hope he shoots you.
Well, but see, and that's the other thing too. It's never the people that are like, "Okay, I don't agree with you." Those aren't the people that are having the problem with the cops.
Right. It's the assholes.
It's the people that
The arrogant
right
little
off the
pricks.
bat are screaming and yelling, acting like
or
they're
telling the
better
cop,
than
you
the
don't
cop.
have the right to do this and you don't have the right to do that.
Right. Well, now I don't mind people that would say that, like, be like, "Hey, look, my rights are this, this, and this, and what you're asking me to do, you can't do. I need to interact with you, show you my ID, but I don't have to answer your questions. Where I'm coming from is none of your business. Where I'm going is none of your business. How long I've been out is none of your business. If I've had a drink, I'm not answering that question. I'm sorry. Here's my information. Go about whatever you're going to do."
Right.
But that guy's not going to get shot. The one that's screaming, "F you, I don't have to do it," that's the guy that's going to get arrested and thrown in jail. It's all about how you interact with people. And like I say, with me, if you interact with me in I don't even want to say courteous way, as long as you're calm, even if you're angry, we're going to be just fine. If you come at me aggressively, I'm going to jump on you with both feet. And like I said earlier, I made a joke of, if you don't believe me, ask our supervisor. He did that to me one time, and I went ballistic to where, like, the people that we work with were walking away because they thought we were going to go at it. And we both learned that we don't need to talk to each other like that. And now we get along great. You know what I mean? Me and Dan get along very, very well.
I often said that the ones who go all stupid and start acting, they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to talk. If you have to use your fists instead of your mouth, then you're stupid.
Well, yeah. Or and the other part to that is there's some people that have that.
Well, I'm not talking about being defensive. I'm talking about the offensive one.
Well, right, but I'm talking about the people that are like that because of where they've been. People that have been in prison, and that whole experience changes your whole outlook on life. There is no, when you're there is no, let's talk this out and see if we can figure something out.
Right.
It's, oh, he's in the shower by himself. Give me my shiv. I'll take care of it. And that's the way it's all handled. Just like out here, thank God this has happened, but we have gotten to the point in our society where race doesn't really mean anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? We can interact with people from a different country. We can interact with people that have different views from us. And we can do that. We might not enjoy some of it, but we can do it and be civil and walk away. As soon as you go to prison, it's not like that. If you're not in a gang and you don't hang out with your gang members, you are basically segregated to your race. And that is the way it is in there. So when those people get out, it's real hard for them to walk away from that mentality. That's like, I don't know if you ever, like, people say they don't want to leave prison because they know they're scared to death to be out here with everybody else because they haven't interacted with people for 15, 20 years. And I could see where that would be scary as shit. If you had that whole prison experience for the last 15 years and they're like, whoa, Mark, have fun out in the world, you're going to be like, shit. I mean, I would be scared to death
I don't think
after
so.
that.
I think I would adapt.
Well, but you would be exactly the guy you're talking about people shouldn't be, because that's what you have to be to survive there. And that's the other thing that sucks about prison is people are supposed to go to prison to be rehabilitated and learn how to act in society, and it's the exact opposite. You go there and you have to survive. And that's the other reason that in this country I don't think prisons work. I'm not saying people shouldn't be taken away from society because they don't know how to be, but I don't think it's that prison is for rehabilitation anymore. It's just a place to throw somebody for a few years to keep him out of everybody else's hair, and then when he gets out, they can either change or go right back to being who they were, because there's no rehabilitation to any of it. Even on a county level, like I've been to the county jail here where we live, and it is horrible. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, when I was, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been there, but it states that you're supposed to have recreation in this, that, and the other thing, right? Every day for however many hours. You're lucky if you get it once a week.
Yeah.
It states that you should have your medical, like people that need to take pills or whatever at a certain time, that's going to happen, that you're going to get that. Like people that are diabetic. When I was there, I can't even tell you how many people I've seen go into diabetic comas or shocks where they're shooting the glucose tubes.
Yeah.
Like 6, 7, 8 of them at a shot to wake people up because the med cart was just late because, you know, the nurse was doing this or that or whatever. And they only come around twice a day. There's people that have diabetes and stuff that they need more than twice a day to get checked.
Yeah.
Because that's just, it's a health thing. And then if you say something to the guard, shouldn't have came to jail. No, that is not. Dude got a DUI. He shouldn't be freaking dying in here. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Now, if it's somebody that, you know, he shouldn't have murdered somebody and he wouldn't be here, okay, that makes a little more sense. But a guy that's there for driving under suspension shouldn't die or go into that state, even if he doesn't die, being in that diabetic coma for however long until they wake him back up. Because there could be serious, serious issues with that. I mean, it can mess up your brain. It can mess up certain parts of your nervous system. All over because you tried to go see your grandma at the nursing home and didn't have a driver's license? Or you didn't know your driver's license was suspended and you tried to go to work? Come on. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It is absolutely ridiculous. Rant over.
I think Sully farted again.
Damn dog.
But anyways, so we were talking about motorcycles.
We were, and then we went off on a tangent. You were going off on a motorcycle tangent.
Yes, I was going off on a motorcycle tangent. I just think that if you're going to be on two wheels, you got to have a better mindset. I don't care.
We just have to be more adult.
Yes. Because you're representing, it's like I said, I'll say it again, it's literally us against them. You got young drivers, distracted drivers, and if you go around punishing, it's only a matter of time before you're the one that's going to be fuckered up. It's like making moonshine.
Right.
You know, you got to be lucky every single time you do it.
Well, and if you also
and
think
luck
about
runs
it,
out. So knock it off. Just knock it off. Grow up. If you're a Harley rider and you're trying to be bad, please sell your bike. Just sell it, because you're not going to. There is no such thing as a badass. They don't exist. It's a mindset. Most of the time I've been in fights, the toughest guy is the easiest guy to beat up.
Well,
it's just. I'm a badass. No, you're not. You're a pussy, just like everybody else on the planet. We're all the same.
Well, the other thing too is, if you're riding a motorcycle, you are going to have some type of accident, whether it's a minor one.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Just like your car. You're not going to drive a car your whole life. I mean, there are exceptions. Here come the comments if it doesn't happen, but there are exceptions. But I would say that 99.5% of people that drive a car all their life have some type of fender bender.
Sure.
It's the same thing on a bike. So why put yourself in that situation where if that it's going to be 10 times worse, right?
Yeah.
Don't
do it. Okay. If you're really worried, get the guy's plate, fall in behind him, get the guy's plate. If he pulls over, fine, get off the bike. You're wearing a helmet, or if you're not wearing a helmet, you know,
you should be.
Just take your key with you so they can't when you get off the bike, pop your key out so he can't do anything. But my point is, you'd be amazed at how many times it's not going to end up a fist fight unless you start it.
Well, right, and that's, again,
you're talking about someone whose mindset is fucked up, whether they're having a bad day or they're just a bad person, whatever. The point is that if you're not the bigger person, you are going to be the one eventually that's going to pay the biggest price. So knock it off. Just knock it off.
And that's
you're not really.
I agree with that 1,000%.
When you knock someone's mirror off, even if they deserve it, all you did was create someone who now hates motorcyclists.
Or just hates you in general. I was going to, like you say,
they won't
chase
know who you
down. Are. Right.
If they memorize your face or your bike, then yes. But if you get away, they're just going to hate motorcyclists, and they're going to hate me, and I don't deserve that.
And that's the other thing, too. And I will tell you this, being a guy, I also ride. I haven't had a bike for a few years, but I also ride. There are people out there that just don't give a shit about it.
No, they don't. And they don't have to. I'm sorry. That people get mad. They don't have to care about you.
Well, there's
what you have to do is get away from that person.
There's a difference between somebody that doesn't give a shit and the people. I heard him part that time, actually.
Where is he?
I don't know. But did you see me go, look around? Because I heard through the headphones I heard it. I don't know if it even picked it up on the microphone.
That dog is just out of control. Anyways.
But like I said, I mean, I know a guy who was riding a little south of us down here, past where I used to live in Waynesburg, Carrollton area. Yeah. And he was coming to where I worked. And there was somebody in front of him that must have not liked the motorcycle. And he said that this lady was grabbing sheets off a newspaper, holding them out the window, and letting them go, flying at him, not crumpling them up, like a whole sheet. And I'm like, that. There's a difference between not caring about people that ride motorcycles and not liking them and doing some shit like that.
Yeah, she's being malicious. So you just get the hell away from her.
Right.
It's so easy. You just pull over for a second, or you make a turn.
But that lady obviously had some interaction with a motorcyclist.
Or she was just crazy. Sometimes there's crazy people
that's also
out
true.
there.
There are just crazy people out there.
There are people who just have mental issues, and they do crazy shit. But, I mean, like I said, you can pull over, make a phone call, get the plate number, say this woman is throwing things out her window. Or you can go up and smash her mirror. Which one is more adult?
Well,
or you can go kick. You really think that if your soft ass tennis shoe kicks a car, you're going to do real damage? Come on.
Well, but then the other problem you have there is now you're the one that's in the wrong, and when the cops do show up, you're going to end up in jail too.
It's like, grow up. If you're going to be on a motorcycle, sorry, I'm putting this on you. You have to be slightly more mature. It's that simple.
Just be an adult.
Yes. Just
I know
grow up a
adulting
little bit.
sucks sometimes.
Now, I will say this. If I watch a video, there was one video that comes to mind. This poor kid was just sitting on his bike, and this guy ran up to him, tried to push him off the bike, and he ended up beating the guy up. That is not what I'm talking about. That is self-defense. They weren't moving. He were at a red light. I'm talking about when something simple happens, someone changes lanes, someone pulls out and doesn't see you, and you want to punish. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, see, now, when I was a kid, it was I felt the exact same way because I rode a skateboard when I was a kid. Whatever, but all these people would harass people on skateboards, and I'm like, okay, well, I get that to a certain extent because some of you kids are out there riding in parking lots and banging off walls and stuff at the grocery store.
Yeah.
When Mom and Pa Kettle are trying to do some grocery shopping,
and then when you get a bystander like me who sees those videos, I'm always rooting for the guy to kick the shit out of the skateboarders.
Right. But I mean,
that doesn't mean I hate skateboarders.
Right.
It's just that's particular situation.
And that's why back
if the kid
then,
is the one fucking up, then I hope the kid gets fucked up.
But like I said, that's why back then you couldn't skateboard anywhere.
Yeah.
There was no skateboarding. No matter if it was an abandoned place you could ride and not be in somebody's way, you still weren't allowed to skateboard there because of the people that didn't give a hoot.
Right. But anyways, so like I said.
Same situation here.
I take motorcycling seriously because I really enjoy it, and I'm always worried. Ohio is one of the most lenient states. You don't have to have a helmet.
Nope.
You don't have to wear certain kind of shoes. It's smart to do that.
Right.
But I don't like people forcing me.
You can dress for the ride and not the slide in Ohio.
Right.
And other states, they don't let you do that.
I'm trying to get people to grow up a little bit because it really is us against them. There are more motorists than there are motorcyclists. So we are the minority, and if we don't grow up and what I want anybody in a car to see a motorcyclist and think, okay, that guy he's going to be safe because he knows the risks and
Right.
but not just, oh great, here's a guy with a patch on and he's riding a Harley that looks really nice, or just even worse. I'm not even going to pick on the patch guys. Those guys are usually really good riders.
Well, right, because they've been
really
doing it
nice
their whole
people.
life. Yeah.
Now, if you fuck with them, you get hurt, and that's kind of the way it works. I'm talking about the pretentious young yuppie who bought the $60,000 Harley, and now he thinks he's as good as those guys who've been riding for decades. You know what I mean? Those patched riders who are in a motorcycle club who ride a lot because that's a lifestyle. I'm talking about the pretentious young guy who's in his 30s or his early 40s, and now he's a badass because he bought this $40,000, $35,000 Harley. Those are the guys, are the ones that don't mess with me, man. Why? Why? There's nothing special about you. Just be the better person, and you won't have to worry about anybody kicking your ass or driving over your precious Harley.
Well, and the other thing you got to realize too is when you're on a bike, you have to not have the mentality of
a child.
Well, no, the mentality is that they have is they need to look better because it's harder to see me. But in your statement, you are saying exactly why things happen, because you are harder to see.
So you need to watch them.
So, right, you need to watch your own ass a little bit. But at the same time, if there is a mistake, you have to realize it isn't because that person necessarily is just a dumbass or wasn't paying attention. You really are just that much harder to see.
And even if they were being a dumbass, you're a dumbass too sometimes. It happens.
Right.
So don't instantly leap to, this guy is trying to kill me, I'm going to beat him up, he's almost took me for my kids. Sometimes just, what are you doing?
Right. Listen,
and if they apologize, at least they're admitting. And that's another thing. Motorcyclists tend to think that they never have to apologize for anything. I've seen bikes pull up in front of people. I've seen bikes cut people off and blow through red lights. You guys are just as easy to fuck up as the people in the car.
And I agree with that.
And if you can't apologize when you screw up, please sell your motorcycle.
But see, and that's like I said, that's why when I say, if the guy's like, hey man, you kind of pay a little bit more attention. It's a nice day. Bikes are out, whatever. And then the guy in the car goes off on the biker, and then the biker gets mad and says something. And then that's on the guy in the car for not being a decent human being, because none of us, I don't care who you are, you can lie to yourself all you want. There's not a single person that has been driving a car for more than 2 or 3 years that has never, ever, ever accidentally made a mistake.
Oh, I make them constantly.
Tried to change a lane. Oh my God, shit, there's a car there.
Yeah.
Or go to pull out. Oh shit, here comes a car. You didn't notice all of that. There's nobody that has ever not done that. And like I say, and if you think you've never done that, you are a liar.
Well, you're just arrogant to the point where you shouldn't have a motorcycle. I mean, I make mistakes and I own them instantly.
Even in a car.
Yeah, that's true. I'm still focused on
You're going to make a mistake at some point because you are as perfect as everybody else, which is not.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was saying.
So, I mean, like I said, it's the same thing.
There's a video out there that I love. There's by the time the video starts, there's this couple, a man and a woman on a Harley, and then there's a Harley behind them, and this man and the woman is screaming at this kid in a car. He's in like a Pontiac, and the woman, being completely emotional and probably an idiot, starts throwing. I couldn't see what she's throwing, but she's throwing small stuff at the car, like at the window and inside the car.
Okay.
So the kid in the car finally had it, and he turns wheels, and he drove over the Harley. Just drove over them. They were at a red light. Okay. Knocks the bike over, runs over completely drives over the Harley. And I never rooted for someone in a car. I was like, yes. If you're going to stand there and act like, how do I put it? If you're going to act like you're under some bubble of protection because you're on a bike and you're more at risk, so it's their job.
Right.
If you're throwing something at a car, guess what? All that morality goes out the window. And this kid decided, fuck you, I'm going to show you which one of us is going to win this fight. And he drove over the bike. And I was like, thank you.
Well, see, but that goes back to exactly what I'm saying. If that person at that light was like, hey, kid, you're a younger person, you're new to driving, you really do have to pay attention because it's harder to see bikes, whatever. And was like, instead of being an asshole, was like just honestly trying to help that kid. And then the kid did that. Absolutely, that kid needs to have his ass whipped. But instead of doing that, whoever that was went straight to rage and started throwing stuff and
lost.
And well, not only did they lose, but they lost as soon as they lost their temper.
Yeah.
And I've been there. I've lost my temper at people that I shouldn't have. We've all done it.
Yeah.
but that's just the wrong time.
If you go up to someone and say, dude, you got to be careful, you know, these bikes, blah, 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 and they're like, fuck you, man. Okay. I'm obviously not going to go anywhere with this person, and I'm on a bike with my wife, who I love, so I'm not going to push it any further. I'm just going to let him go and you know, like I said, if I really get mad, I'll take his plate, and I can deal with him later or turn him into the cops. But I'm not going to sit there and scream stupid shit and throw stupid shit knowing that there's no way I can come out of that situation.
Right.
You can't get off the bike really fast when you have a passenger. You can put the kickstand and drop it, right? And then she falls off because she didn't know what was coming.
Well, he obviously doesn't care about her. He wouldn't be fighting with somebody with her on the back.
My point is, if you want to be a badass and beat someone's ass and you have a passenger, you still have, it takes you a minute.
Right.
And you just don't have that time in a fight, especially when someone's in a car and they know they could just drive over you and not have a single thing happen to their person. And if it's a piece of shit car,
they don't care anyway.
Right.
Because they paid
so that's what I mean.
$1,000 for that thing or whatever.
Grow up, be the bigger person because you really are at more risk.
Just beat it.
And when you're a complete asshole and bad things happen to you, all I can do is hope the bike gets destroyed and you can't get another one.
Well, I don't know. And like I said, it's just...
Because that means you need to be in a Dodge Ram.
If you can't dodge it, ram it.
All right, well, the good news is that one rant took the entire hour. So
I was going to say, yeah, we didn't even get into your other rant you wanted to get into.
We'll do that next week. But anyways, like I said, it's a very passionate subject for me, and I really do feel that if you're on two wheels, it is a privilege. You don't deserve it.
That one hit me.
Sully.
Good Lord.
I'm taking you to the vet. Look, he's wagging his tail like, whew, that feels better. Damn, you stanky little sucker.
Look, listen, anybody at home that doesn't know, this dog might weigh 20 pounds.
No, he doesn't. I think he weighs like 15.
And is ripping farts.
Oh, my gosh. And they're just eye-watering, too.
Jesus.
They're horrible.
Whatever you're feeding that dog, stop.
You know what? I think last night they had gravy because we had chicken with gravy. And he might have had some gravy. Gravy makes you fart. I don't know. But, yeah, he's bad today.
Oof, that's just, good Lord, my eyes are watering.
I know. Such a little package and so pungent.
Well, look at Toots. She's, what, $105? And she can, listen, she'll clear a room like anybody else.
But anyways. All right. I just want to talk about that. I'm going to shut up about it. We do have another topic. We'll talk about that next week. But it's one of those deals. Grow up. It's time. You know, let the other guy be the piece of shit.
Well, yeah, and it's too late for most
because
people,
it's going to be very, very bad for you if you're on two wheels. Sometimes eating a shit burger here and there is really the best thing.
Or just avoiding the shit burger altogether.
Yeah.
Don't even put yourself in a position to eat the shit burger. Just drive around.
Forget about your pride. And because if you're proud and you're arrogant, then that one interaction is going to ruin your whole day.
Right.
But like me personally, once the interaction's over, I'm done with it. It's done. Now I'm back into the sun. I'm back in the wind. I'm on a good road. I got my wife behind me. You know what I mean? So I just don't worry about that whole pride and how I looked. I don't give a fuck. And that's why I've been riding as long as I have. I can count on one hand how many accidents I've had on a motorcycle, and I'm not busted up. I'm not screwed up.
Right.
So, yeah, you could say I'm lucky. I'll take that. Maybe it's just the fact that I keep my head clear. I don't worry about how I look. I don't worry about what other people think of me. Well, see, I'm just in the wind.
You're probably also one of these people, like the people I know that have the bad motorcycle accidents. Wow, English is tough. Holy shnikes. But the other thing, that the people that have the bad accidents are the ones that are out in the country going 98 miles an hour through the windy roads and a deer jumps out.
Bad shit can happen to anybody on any road.
But I'm saying the majority of people that have the really bad I went off the road accidents, things like that, are the ones that are going just way too fast, riding through the country in the hill, over hill and dale, and the deer jumps out in front of them, or a raccoon. Because I hit a raccoon going about 60 once, and I thought I was done. Yeah. I obviously
I'm lucky enough I've never hit anything, but I will say this: if you got a sport bike, there's no problem with that. You know, that's nothing. Even if you have a naked sport bike, but I will say this: do yourself a favor and don't do it from the standpoint of being a better rider, because that motivation goes away when you just want to go ride. Do it because you will never have more fun on that machine. Go find a local track. I'm talking a road course, not
right.
Just there is one near you, I promise. Just look up, look around, and get into one of those advanced riders, or maybe a racing class, or a day on the track. I'm telling you, you will.
Yeah, they all have track days.
You will learn Well, no, as far as I know, I don't know of any racetrack that allows track days without a certification.
Well, yeah, but they'll get you the certification. Mid-Ohio,
Right,
you can get it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Go to the track, find out what you need, whether it be proper gear or just money, and I'm telling you, if you take that bike and get under someone who knows how to ride and teaches you like the difference between actual control of the bike and just throwing your leg over it and going
Right.
for a ride, I'm telling you, you will thank me. It is a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Right. I mean, and like the other thing you got to remember too is like, look at me. I was just at a Halloween party, enjoying my day and having some fun with some friends, and
You fucked up your foot.
and now I can't work, and I can't make money, and that bothers me. But it's the same thing. Like if you're on a motorcycle and somebody makes some type of mistake and you act like an asshole, you might end up with a broken leg or a broken foot. And now you can't pay your bike payment.
Actually, that's an excellent segue. What I was talking about is when you go to the track, you learn how to manipulate that machine.
Right.
And I'm going to use your example. Bad things happen. And I'll give
Absolutely.
you a quick story. My brother once was riding, and in Ohio we have hills. Sometimes they're big hills, not mountains, but hills. Sometimes they're big hills, sometimes they're little hills. Little hills, no big deal. Big hills, they can be big enough to hide something as big as a combine.
Oh yeah.
Now, he was riding to work, and he said he was just cruising right along, and all of a sudden, he topped this hill. And at the exact same time was a Ford F-150 trying to pass a car. So there was two cars coming at him. And he said he had a fraction of a second to get out of the Ford's way because it was in his lane. And he told me, he said, if I wouldn't have just taken that advanced riders class and know that if you push on the right handlebars, not pull, push on them, you turn right very quickly. If you push on the left, you will turn left very quickly. That's how racers, as they lean, they start to push, and that forces, because if you think about the physics, anyways, the bike will turn so fast you can do a high side. But he said he relied on that information that he recorded and memorized doing track days, and it saved his life. Because otherwise he would have hit that truck at head on, and
Right.
the truck was probably doing 60 or 70, and he was doing probably 50. It would have been a death sentence for sure.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that going to the track and all of a sudden you're invincible. What I'm saying is that you will learn things at a track that you cannot learn
Right.
on your own unless you get under someone's. And it's these tricks that are taught all the time because that's racing. Like, give an example. This is just a quick example. If you're on a sport bike, even a naked bike, and you're riding, when you put your foot on the pegs, you can rest your foot mid-peg, mid-foot if you want, but whenever you're turning, like say you're turning right, you take your right foot and you put the peg at your toes. That way, it's impossible for the asphalt, if you lean too far, to grab that shoe, stick, and then your foot gets wrapped under that peg, breaks your ankle, your foot, and you go down.
Or
That is
throws
just
you off the bike. Exactly.
That is just a very simple little trick. When you're turning, put your toes on the peg. That way your foot is up and out of the way. That is a simple...
Exactly.
That is the first thing they teach you. My point is that most people don't think of that unless someone like me tells them. That's the kind of stuff. And there's a whole laundry list of things that you will learn. Even a Harley. If you want to make a sharp turn, you have to get your butt off the machine. You have to hang off the side, even on a Harley, because you're changing the center of gravity and you won't have to lean the bike as far. That way the bike can still stay upward and it'll still turn because your body weight is now forcing it. That is just a quick thing you can learn, and it'll help you out there. Because, you'll be riding along and all of a sudden here's a 90-degree turn and you had no idea it was coming up.
Right.
Now you're doing 50 or more, and you have to make this turn, or you slam into the side of something.
Right, and hitting that brake pedal is the worst thing you can do when you start into that turn too, because
because
have
when you
less
slow
tire
down,
on the road, and you're going to go.
When you're slowing down, the bike goes straight.
Yep.
Bikes do not turn. That's why they say do all of your braking before the turn, so you can accelerate, because the bike will
push the bike
turn
through the turn.
Right. Anyways, the point is that you can learn so much, and at the same time, you won't even realize you're learning because you're having so much fun on these bikes on a track. Just look it up, look for it. I know that if you live in the area we're in, like Alliance and that, Nelson's Ledges Road Course still has the Fast Tracks series.
Yep.
Go there, pay the money. I promise it'll not only make you a better rider, but you will have so much fun and so much more respect for just physics, how motorcycles work. Because if you think about, just take a second and think about the amount of rubber on each tire on a car compared to how much rubber is on the street. You got two tires, a patch about this big, max.
Yes.
Whereas a car is a patch about that big times 4. So learning how to ride these bikes there is physics to it. There's science to it. And learning that is very fun. It's very easy, and it will save your life.
The other thing that I will add to that, if you are a female that rides on the back of a motorcycle, unless you have previously discussed what to do when you're riding with that person, don't be the person that's moving and thinking you're helping when you're doing this on the back of the bike.
Yeah.
Because that guy the driver can't see you and know what you're doing unless he's watching the mirror. And if he's watching the mirror, he's not watching where he's going, and you're going to hit a tree. Your best bet as a person on the back of a motorcycle is to sit straight and still.
What I tell them is my bike has a backrest or a sissy bar. I always tell my passengers, just do what that does. And he's right. There's an easier way to say it. Whereas if you're a second person on a motorcycle, you can actually steer the bike, whether you're near the controls or not. If you lean over, again, you've changed the center of gravity. Maybe not a ton, but the bike will start to drift in that area. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're on a Harley or a Honda, and you're going through a turn. It's a long turn. So you have a couple of seconds to think and move. And you want to see. So the bike's turning right, and you decide to lean to the right so you can see. All of a sudden,
that bike's going to start turning harder.
Right. You've just now changed the center of gravity, and now the rider, the actual driver of the bike, has to compensate. So what he's saying is if you don't, you can lean with the bike, just don't overlean. Yeah. Or sometimes, let's use the same scenario. You're turning right, and you want to see, but you know not to lean, so you lean the other way. Now what you've done is changed the center of gravity, so now the driver has to work a little harder because you're balancing the bike out and it doesn't want to turn.
Move your head, not your body.
Yeah, that doesn't always, matter of fact, very seldom does that end up in a crash or the guy freaking out. But it's just one of those things where if the rider of the bike knows his shit, he will tell you beforehand, just go with the bike. Don't lean, don't lean the opposite direction. Yep. That way I don't have any
I don't have to compensate for you in an
unexpected things happening, and we'll be just fine. But that's what I mean. If you own a motorcycle, just go through the class. They will teach you all of this stuff. And I'll also throw out that the Ohio training class, the one they do through the DMV, that kicks ass. That is not a bad thing, and they teach a lot of good stuff.
Yes, and the only thing that I will add to that is if you want to do the actual road course that they give you, you probably don't want to do that on a full-dressed Harley.
You can. It's just not as fun.
It is wicked on a big bike. You want to take
it
on a regular-sized bike.
Yeah, the heavier bike, the more chance you go. Here's two things against big machines, and you're trying to go fast on a road course. One, the weight. The weight matters. Secondly, they very rarely have tires that are made for high speed. Okay, so they're harder tires. They're made for rain and for cruising. So you'll have less traction. You put those two together, you're most likely to high side or low side. High side, imagine you're cruising along and you're turning and the back tire breaks traction. So it wants to swing. It usually doesn't swing out too bad. It'll swing for, say, a foot, but then it catches traction. So what you get is a whipping. It goes whoop and snaps back, and that's when you get launched off the bike like a horse. Low side is when the front tire loses traction and you're pushing, goes under, and you just collapse that's what you see a lot with Harley riders is the front tire because it has no weight on it. Right. If you look at a sport bike, all the weight, including you, is on that front tire. And the back tire is one that slides around, but since you're sitting on the front, it's almost like a unicycle. It doesn't lose traction. But in a Harley or a cruiser, you're sitting in the middle of it. Right. So if you want to take a Harley to a track day, no problem. Do it. Just listen to the instructor because he'll say you're not going to be able to go as fast as these other guys. Right. Just, but I can still teach you how to get your weight off of the machine, even if it's a Harley. You don't just me and the Harley are one. It doesn't work that way. There are physics involved, and bikes are different than cars. You have to be your own, like swivel, your own weight. Your weight matters, and where you put it matters.
And if people don't understand what he's saying, think about when you're on your riding mower and you're driving, you turn the wheel and it keeps going straight. That's exactly what he's talking about. Because there's no weight on the front of it, it doesn't turn. But when you're on a motorcycle on two wheels, when it doesn't do that, things get ugly really quickly.
Yeah, it falls over. But anyways, my point is that what he's just talking about with the passenger, hopefully the driver of the bike will know that. If he doesn't.
Right. That's why I said if you haven't discussed what to do, this is what you should do.
If your partner or if your friend or if your husband or wife or whoever just buys a motorcycle and you're not sure, if he knows all the rules. Just remember, when you lean, the bike turns. So don't stay perfectly straight. Just relax. Do what the bike does. Just sit on the bike. Perfect. All right. Well, we're way over, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you all for listening. And if you disagree with me, please comment. Let me know. If you think I'm stupid, tell me.
Well, we all think
I
you're
can
stupid.
handle it. Well, yeah, but there's degrees. Let me know. Tell me. Put in the comments. Share your own personal stories. Maybe you're one of the guys who took a mirror off and you think it's justified. No problem. Let me know. I promise I won't judge unless you really make me judge.
But see, I don't know. Like I say, I agree with that you shouldn't do it, but there are certain times emotions get in your way when somebody acts a certain way towards you when you try to speak to them. That I'm not saying is justified, but I understand it.
No, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There was one time, I know, I just said I'm going to end this. The wife and I, no, we weren't on my Honda, which is way more powerful. We were on a Boulevard S50, C50, a C50, which only has like 65 horse. We were on the freeway, and we're cruising along, just doing freeway speeds. I think it was like 60. And all of a sudden, and I do mean all of a sudden, this Ford Escort with 4 people in it, he had been doing over 100. And when he shot past me, he didn't just go past me. He veered over into my lane so close to me that I hit the brakes. So obviously there was young punks who thought they were being funny. If I had a motorcycle that could have caught that car, I probably would have gone to jail because I would have followed them. As soon as they pulled over, I would have attacked them because it's not just me. They would have taken out my wife too, and that's I don't play that.
What?
But the truth of the matter is I didn't have a motorcycle. I knew I couldn't catch them because they were already doing over 100 when they passed me. So they got away with it, and probably for the better because one of them may have had a gun, and my wife and I could have lost our lives.
Well, see, now on the flip side of that,
but I understand.
I was coming home from a meet and greet kind of thing in Akron, and it was probably 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm coming down 77 South, and I see in the mirror these 2 bikes on line. I'm in the middle lane. One's in the other right lane. One's in the left, and they're coming. I mean, they're coming.
Yeah.
So I'm in my car, and I'm like, okay, I'm not changing lanes because these guys are hauling ass. I don't want them to have to. I'm just going to stay right where I am. So they come roaring by me, and the one in the right-hand lane decided it was time to come into the middle lane, and he did it a little bit too soon. And it caught just the front of the bumper on my little piece of shit car, and it ripped it. And my bumper was like boop, hanging above the hood the rest of the way when I drove home.
That's an asshole.
But he didn't go down. Yeah. I'm sure it probably muffed his bike a little bit, but
probably shit himself too.
Oh, I'm sure he probably had to clean his underwear out.
See, that's what I mean. I understand you got a fast bike and you want to fuck around.
No, they're on Harleys.
Well, that's even worse.
They're both on full dressers.
All you can do is hope that he had to pay $1,000 to fix his bike. That's all you can do.
Right.
But that's what I'm talking about.
And maybe had to buy a new seat because it was shit stained.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you're on a motorcycle, you need to be better. If you want to do 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle, you better pick a road and a time when there's no one else on the road.
Right, and that might have been, like we said, that might have been somebody that was new to riding and didn't realize since he was going so fast, whatever he did was going to happen faster, and he just got over a little too quicker than he thought.
Or he's unexperienced, meaning
that's what I'm saying.
You don't know how much time you have to make decisions when you're doing 100 miles an hour.
So he did it like he was going.
Yeah, it's probably the first time he had that bike really run out.
Right, and I don't know. I couldn't tell because they come by me so fast. I couldn't tell if it was a young
and if I was part of that group,
or an older guy. It was just 2 of them.
Yeah, if I was part of that group, when we first stopped, whether it be a stoplight or pull in somewhere, I would have fucking handed him his ass. Not beat him up. I would have told him.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, that's not fair. That guy that you hit and fucked up his bumper didn't do a damn thing to us.
Right.
And you're a coward because you didn't stop.
No, they didn't stop.
Right. He didn't offer to pay for it. You're a fucking dick. And
all I can do
is hope that,
I fixed the bumper. I mean,
it
cost me, I think, $12 to buy the bumper clips to hook it back together.
That's not my point. The point is that the guy's an asshole. And
he's definitely an asshole.
He's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, like I say, it goes both ways. It's not always just the person in the car that's not paying attention or making mistakes. Sometimes it is the biker.
Sometimes if you're childish and you don't make good decisions, please sell your bike because it's not just it. He's lucky that he hit you. That you can say, well, that not all motorcycles are like that. What if you would have hit some 17-year-old little girl and now she's scared to death of motorcycles for the rest of her life, all because of some jackass doesn't know how to handle his bike at speed?
Right.
It matters, people. It matters.
Does.
Make better decisions.
And again, that goes back to what I was saying. We all make mistakes.
Yeah. So
He
own
made
up to
one.
them. If you make a mistake, own it. Oh, you know what? I fucked around. I found out. I'm sorry. What do I have to do to fix it? Be a man. Because running and
Or
thank
woman.
God I don't have to pay for that. That's
Or
not being
woman.
a man.
You're allowed to ride too, women's.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, there's not enough women riding out there.
Well, I don't know. There's quite a few. I've seen
Yes,
women riding a lot.
There's a lot more, but there's not.
I don't know if that's just around where we live, or if that's like something that's happening like.
I think
the
most
country.
women should ride, and I'll tell you why. Very rarely can you actually look at your phone while riding. It's just the act of riding keeps you glued.
It's hard to shop for shoes when you're riding a motorcycle.
It's hard to put your makeup on when you're cruising on two wheels. Why put lipstick on when a bug can get smeared in it? I think riding a motorcycle keeps women offline, and that's just a good thing.
I think women should ride just because it's
It's
enjoyable.
cool. It's cool.
It's very enjoyable.
You know, another thing, and if you're on two wheels, it might be a good idea to avoid super heavy roads. Take the back roads.
See, and I agree. It's better scenery, and
Yeah. But
I'm just not a
But
big
that's a personal choice. It
freeway
is safer.
freeway guy on the bike anyway. Because, like I say, if I'm on the bike, I'm wanting to see trees and nature.
See, I don't mind doing it on the freeway. I know my wife hates it. I don't mind it. I don't like doing it the entire time, but I can get on the freeway and be just at home. It's a little windy, but
Yeah.
be at home. Because especially the bike that we got now, it's certainly powerful enough to handle any kind of freeway riding.
Right.
But anyways,
All right, so now that we're at an hour and a half,
yeah, exactly. So we might as well just keep going and separate it into two different.
well, I don't know. We could do that, but
I don't want to do that. I like it because next week we may have a new information for the parade, so I don't want to.
well, that's good. And we'll have a foot update hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. I think
So if you know anybody, if
18th.
you know anybody who's hiring, who might want to hire Patrick here
limp.
with a broken foot,
a limper definitely needs to make more money. Let's see, what else was we talking about that we might have to update on?
well, why don't we wait till next Monday?
Yeah, I'll just give him previews. Update on the foot is going to be a little while.
I got a feeling if I don't end this, you're just going to keep talking. So we're going to go ahead and go.
All right, screw it. I'm out.
See you next week.